Hey there, welcome sis to the Her Best Self podcast. In today's episode, we're talking about your body story. We're going to dive into what influences this relationship that you have with your body. We're going to also talk about what you can do next if you're currently not happy with your body, but you also realize that it is keeping you in this never-ending cycle of restrictive eating and over-exercising. And then we're going to talk about some different things in today's episode that are going to walk you through understanding your body story. And by the end of the time together today, you're going to have a framework, friend, for how you can rewrite your story. Here we go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsey, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you. Because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess, trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it. So you can start living your best life as your best self. Hey there, beautiful friend. Welcome back to the pod. I want to talk to you today about this powerful conversation and speak directly to you if you're listening to this feeling exhausted. Exhausted from restricting your food, girl. Exhausted from punishing yourself and your body with endless workouts or never having a day off. And from trying to shrink yourself while also trying to show up as a leader in every other area of your life. I so see you. I spent so much time trying to be in this perfect body, and maybe you're feeling like you've also just spent so much time trying to be in this perfect body while managing a career, a family, and everyone else's needs. And you're just ready to stop the madness. I'm here to tell you that your prison that you've built around this controlling relationship with food and exercise, it doesn't have to be your forever home, sis. So I want to invite you to my personalized experience, specifically designed for high-achieving women who are ready to break free from this restrictive exercise repeat cycle that is stealing your energy, your joy, and your life. And if you're tired of living as the perfect leader everywhere except in your relationship with your own body and yourself, then I want to chat with you. So one important thing that I like to share with potential clients, and even if you're a current client of mine, is that other eating disorder coaches focus on, yes, changing your relationship with food. And I certainly do that as well. But I also help you discover who you are without the eating disorder in the driver's side, or without these restrictive, unhealthy patterns leading your life. As a former professional figure skater turned coach, I totally understand the perfectionist mindset that created the struggle. And I have a systematic and scientific approach that I leveraged in my own journey for lasting freedom in my life. So if you don't just want to recover from your eating disorder, but you want to discover your true identity and your life's purpose because you're just feeling, well, blah, then I feel like my support is perfect for you. But I also want to walk you through today a little bit of what some of that support can look like. In today's episode, I'm going to talk with you about understanding your body story. Those deep-rooted messages that you've been carrying about your body, how you should look, how your body should perform, and what it actually means about your worth. And by the end of today's show, you're going to have a framework for rewriting that story of shame to total self-compassion. There's no catch. This is completely free. I just want to share with you my deepest thoughts on creating and recreating your body story because I feel like this is not shared enough. So let's start with a question that might make you feel a little uncomfortable. When did you first learn that your body was a problem to be solved? Now, for most of us, it happened long before we had the language to even understand what was happening around us. Maybe you were 7 years old and you heard your mom criticizing her thighs in the mirror. Or maybe you were 10 and someone made a comment about your developing body. Maybe you were 13 and realized that the magazines promised you could be happy if you just looked a little bit different. But here's what I know about you. If you're listening right now and you're hanging out with me on the show regularly week to week, you didn't start out hating your body. Sis, you learned to. Someone taught you that. Maybe not directly, but it was a learned thing. And so you learned from culture that literally profits from your insecurity. You learned from these diet companies that make billions convincing you that your body is wrong. And you learned from the fitness industry that sold you the lie on a silver platter that more exercise always equals more worth. And if you're like most of my clients, then you learned that being good with food and being great with exercise was a way to feel in control when everything else feels chaotic. Maybe your career is super demanding and so it demands perfection. Or when your family needs you to be everything to everyone, you're there. You're the one. When your life has felt so overwhelming, at least you could control what you ate and how much you ate and how much you moved, right? See, this restriction has become your safety net, and over-exercising has actually become a stress relief. But the smaller body became your badge of honor in a world that taught you that taking up less space was taking up better space. But here's what nobody has talked to you about. That same control that felt like freedom was actually building your prison, brick by brick by brick, year by year by year. So here you are. You're exhausted from decades of fighting your body instead of living in it, and exhausted from spending mental energy on planning out your week and your schedule and your rigid routine. All of that, girl, could be spent on your dreams, your relationships, your purpose. You're successful in every flipping area of your life. You lead a team, you manage budgets, you solve complex problems. You might even be the breadwinner for your family. You raise humans. You keep the household running and on its tracks. But when it comes to your body, you still feel like that confused young girl who learned that her worth was tied to her size. So I want to talk today about these specific messages that have shaped your body story, because oh my gosh, do I have so many of them that I have learned over the years when I think about this concept. Let me give you a couple examples. Good girls don't take up too much space. This teaches you early that you learn to make yourself smaller, literally and figuratively. And you learned that being loud, voicing your opinion, taking up physical space, having needs or desires related to your body were somehow selfish or entirely inappropriate. I remember when I was about 10, my mom took me to Cotillion, and my Nana sat across from me and she said, "Lindsey Marie, scooch in your chair, cross your legs, sit up pretty, and lift your chin." And I thought that was the thing. Let me tell you, I was just on top of the world. I felt like I had arrived. I was a woman, even though I was 10. And I learned really young that is how I needed to be. I needed to be perfect. I needed to sit perfectly. I needed to wear the perfect dress. I didn't want to get anything on it. Like, I learned that. Maybe you learned another message. Your body is your responsibility to control. Maybe you internalized this message that if you just had enough willpower, enough discipline, enough dedication, you can make your body into whatever society deemed as acceptable. And this is that thought process that I certainly put on myself, where my body became a project. Maybe, sis, your body has become a project instead of your home, instead of something you nourish and love and honor. Here's another message. Thin equals healthy. Healthy equals worthy. Big equals bad. You learned to equate that the number on the scale measures your value as a person. You learned that being good with food made you morally superior. And you learned that exercise was something that you had to do as an obligation, not simply a pleasure to move. I'm going to give you a couple more examples. Successful women have it all together. They're perfect in all the things, including their bodies. See, as a high achiever, you learned that controlling your body was just another item on your success checklist. If you could excel at work, at parenting, at managing all the things, wearing all the hats, then surely you could excel at having the perfect body too, am I right? And here's the last one I want to share with you. Your body's primary purpose is to look good for other people. Society has taught you, friend, and you learned that your body exists for external validation. So many messages in our culture refuse to offer what is actually internal satisfaction. You learn to see yourself through the lens of other people instead of your own eyes. And these messages, they don't come from one single source. They come from everywhere. Maybe it's family comments or media images, peer comparisons, maybe even a medical professional who equated your worth with your BMI. I have had so many people say so many different comments over the years. It's literally impossible to think back of all the comments. I remember one of my Pilates instructors who promised transformation of my body. Think about you in your personal life. Like, think of that diet program that sold you temporary fixes, but left you with permanent insecurities. And here's the thing about all these messages. They worked. They kept you small. They kept you compliant. They kept you constantly striving for more and always consuming more products and more programs that are just going to promise you a fix. But here's the real truth, girl. Nothing was actually broken. You're not that young girl anymore. You are a powerful, strong woman with wisdom and experience. And now you have a choice to choose differently. So I want you to really consider what carrying all of these stories has cost you. Here's number one, your energy. I mean, how much mental energy have you spent calculating calories, planning workouts, worrying about how you look, avoiding certain foods or situations? That energy that could have been directed towards so many amazing things. Here's number two, your presence. How many moments with your family have you missed because you were worried about what you were eating? How many social events have you avoided because you didn't like how you looked? How many opportunities, girl, have you declined because you are waiting until you felt better in your body? Here is number three, you lose your authentic self. The woman that you are when you're not worried about food or exercise, she is magnificent. Do you hear me? She is creative. She is brave. She is powerful. She is incredible. She is vibrant, and she is freaking magnetic. But she's been buried under years of body shame and food rules and never feeling good enough. You've also cost yourself, number four, your physical health. The chronic restriction and the over-exercising that you think is keeping you healthy is actually creating substantial stress on your body. Your hormones are imbalanced, your metabolism gets confused, your nervous system is in constant fight or flight mode, and maybe you feel like you're fine and everything's fine on the surface, but friend, you do not really know what's going on inside of you. Here's number five. This kind of messaging has cost you your emotional well-being. Not just your physical health, but your emotional health. Living in a body that you're constantly trying to change, it is so exhausting. Ask me how I know. It creates so much anxiety and depression and irritability and a constant sense that you're simply not okay. You're not enough. Here's number six, your relationships. When you're preoccupied with your body, you can't be fully present for the people that you love. You just can't. And when you're restricting or over-exercising, you're moody, you're tired, you're not a good spouse, you're not a good mom, and this affects you and how you show up in your relationships. But here is the most painful cost that I want to bring to your awareness today. Number seven, your dreams. Sis, how many things have you put on hold until you reach a certain weight or body composition? How many adventures have you delayed? How many goals have you simply abandoned because you were too preoccupied with your changing body, your weight, your exercise routine, your rigid eating habits? Here's what I want you to understand. Your body story up until now has been written by other people, their expectations, cultural messages, and all of these industries that are profiting from your insecurity. But here's where your power lies. You have the power to rewrite this. Like, you're not done. We are just getting started, sis. Your new body story starts right here today with this simple truth, that your body is not a problem to be solved. It is not a mathematical equation. It is a miracle to be appreciated. Your body has carried you through decades of this life, and it's adapted to the stress, and it has healed you from the injuries. It literally works tirelessly to keep you alive and functioning, and it's time to stop being at war with it. Health is not a size. True health, it includes your mental well-being, it includes your energy levels, and your ability to do things that you love. None of these things require you to be a certain weight or a certain size. Listen up about this part of your new body story. You're allowed to take up space. And I don't mean space on a bus, although that's perfectly fine too. I mean space as a leader, as a woman, as a human. You're allowed to have needs. You're allowed to have desires. You're allowed to exist fully in your body without apologizing for it. You're allowed to speak and voice your truth. And your new body story recognizes this power, that you get to decide what your body does and how you treat it. Not your mom's voice, not your nana's voice, not diet culture's voice, not the fitness industry, not even your well-loving friends. Like, you get to decide what feels good for you, what serves you, what aligns with you and your life and where you're headed next. So what would your new rewritten body story sound like? Let me give you some ideas to try on. My body is wise and capable. It knows how much food it needs and what kind of movements feel good for it. I trust it to find its natural, healthy state. And my worth has nothing to do with my size. I'm valuable because I exist, because I contribute, because I love and I am loved. And this body that I'm living in is the vehicle for my life. It is not a determiner of my value. I treat my body with the same respect that I would treat my daughter's body or my friend's body or my mom's body. And I nourish it and I move it and I rest it and I speak kindly to it. My body is not the enemy. It's my home. And I choose today to make it peaceful and a nourishing place to live. Friend, rewriting your body story, it isn't just about changing your thoughts or talking through these wonderful new mantras, which I realize I give to you regularly. Like, I want you to speak truth into your life. But it really starts with changing one decision, one meal, one moment of choosing self-compassion over self-criticism. So here's what I want you to try on for this week, to really start rewriting all of what has happened over years and decades in your life that has created this negative body story in your mind. In the morning, instead of immediately focusing on what you don't like when you wake up or checking yourself in the mirror, I want you to thank your body for something that it did for you yesterday. Maybe it walked you through a long work day. Maybe it hugged on your kids. Maybe it simply kept your heart beating while you were trying to sleep. I want you to be conscious of that intuitive nourishment. And right before you sit down to eat, think to yourself, what would really feel good and nourishing right now? Trust that your body has wisdom and you've just been clogging it with these food rules. Try something new. That's it. Just try something new. It's an experiment. And what would it look like if you chose movement today, not based on how many calories you want to burn, but on just physical movement, like a walk or yoga or stretching? And when you catch yourself being super critical about yourself and your body, why am I talking to myself this way? I want you to speak kindness, because when you speak kindness, you build body trust. Girl, your body story, it doesn't have to end with restriction and exhaustion. You have the power right now for a new chapter. One where you are aligned within your own self and your body is your ally. And where food is nourishment and where movement isn't a punishment. So if you're ready to rewrite that story that you've been telling yourself about your body, then today is your opportunity. I want to invite you to join our free Facebook community. You can find us at herbestselfsociety.com. There are hundreds of women out there that are supporting each other and rewriting their relationship with food and their bodies. And I want to make sure that you're on our email list because I have some upcoming things for you this summer that you do not want to miss. You can sign up at herbestself.co. Sis, your body story, it is still being written right now. And the best chapters are yet to come. Seriously, the best version of you is right around the corner because you deserve to live in peace with your body. And your body is faithfully carrying you through this beautiful, complicated, challenging, messy life. You're not too much. You're not too little. You're exactly enough, exactly as you are. It's okay to take up space. I hope today has given you something to mold into your journaling practice. If that's something that you do regularly, which I highly encourage. Write about, like, who has influenced my body story? When do I remember thinking certain things in my life that led me to this place? And how can I rewrite that story so that I can stand in my truth and so that I can crush the next chapter? Friend, I hope this one has inspired you. Share it with somebody that you love. And just know that I love you and I'm rooting for you along the way. Talk to you soon, girl. Bye for now. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.